Without question, mortgage-backed assets sliced and diced and scattered throughout the financial system lie at the epicenter of the economic earthquake shaking world markets. From default subprime loans underwritten by Fannie and Freddie grew to a tsunami that helped swamp Lehman Brothers and others, including AIG. And Fannie and Freddie were able to launch more than $1 trillion of bad paper into the private market because regulators and Congress let them do it. This committee cannot conduct a credible examination of the current crisis without focusing on the market-distorting power of the federal mortgage giants and the firewall against reform manned by their enablers here in Congress. No one is disputing the committee's focus on executive pay. We agree. Company compensation is a telling indicator of a corporate culture detached from larger market realities and the fundamental fiduciary duty to be frugal stewards of other people's money.
Because you feel that we need more, what does the sign say? Ethical resistors unite, blow the whistle on corporate government fraud, like whistles, government, ethics versus all that. I'm confused by the sign, to be honest. I mean, it's hard to read. You can't read it from far away, so maybe you can explain it since you're a law student.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of, I think we need A.G. Snyderman to investigate Wall Street, and he's the Attorney General of New York State.
Oh, I thought.
And that me-first self-indulgence was just as rampant at Fannie Mae as in its private sector partners and competitors. From 1998 to 2003, Fannie Mae's CEO, Franklin Raines, alone took over $90 million in salary and bonuses.
Wasn't it Mario Cuomo?
Well, he used to, no, it's his son. He's the governor.
What happened to Elliot Spitzer? Wasn't he ethical?
Fucked up.
Was he ethical?
You know, when he was the AG, he was pretty good, but he fucked up when he was the governor.
Well, how can you support any Attorney General after he...
I don't really support him. I mean, you know, I would support him if they actually did something.
Like what? What do you want him to do?
I would like them to investigate fraud and malfeasance on Wall Street.
Like what? Like point to one instance of fraud.
You know, I mean, you got people like Citigroup saying, you know, they have a memo in 2005-06 saying, you know, hey, we don't live in a democracy, we live in a plutocracy. 1% of the world controls everything, and they're okay with that.
Can you not?
No, you know, I'm not really okay with that. I've been on unemployment for a year and a half now.
I thought it was natural selection, the strong rules and
Well, that's how it's been, but, you know, I think that historically, you know, when people get together, we make some significant changes.
Oh, I see. So you don't believe in the Bible?
Well, I think Jesus, like, went in, threw over the money changers' tables.
And why did he do that?
Because I think he was pissed off about the corruption.
Did they need to mop the floors and he just helping them move furniture?
Yeah.
Or is that what they call righteous anger? It's illustrated by Jesus Christ himself.
I think that it was, yeah.
Out of the temple, it was a holy place to worship.
It was. They were defiling the temple of God.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the temple of God is for the people to worship and give their praise to the Lord Almighty.
The Raines team was even caught manipulating accounting practices to overstate profitability so they could grab what their overseer called, quote, ill-gotten bonuses in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
Jesus went in there and he said, this is not the way you worship. You worship with respect. This is
They worship money.
And so do you believe you like Jesus Christ, sir?
I wouldn't say that I'm like Jesus Christ.
Okay.
You know, do I believe in, like, you know, what Jesus did as far as that? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
What's your opinion on the Fed?
I think we need to dump the Fed. We need to get rid of the Fed. The Fed and the corporations are in each other's pockets. You know, if you believe in free market capitalism...
We are a free market economy that should be able to participate in that.
then what happened with the bailout was not free market capitalism. We should have let those banks fail. They created the problem, let them fail while the taxpayers bailing them out, and now we're the ones that are unemployed. We're living below the poverty line. There's no work and no help for us. But yet we can bail out these fat cats on Wall Street who give themselves millions of dollars of bonuses for fucking up this country.
Anytime you want to pick up the telephone, you know it ain't nothing to drop a couple stacks on you. More that you can get it, my dear. $5 million home drop.
The Fannie Mae board gave recent ousted CEO Daniel Mudd a $2.6 million bonus in 2005 on top of his $3.5 million salary, based on a set of non-financial goals such as promoting respect, appropriate and productive relationship with regulators. In the context of a $6 trillion mortgage securities portfolio, those paydays may seem like small change, but it's indicative of a prevalent and noxious rot that threatens the moral underpinnings of the entire capitalist business model. So we need to keep the toxic twins, Fannie and Freddie, at the center of this investigation. Not on the edge, not out in the future, but right now. Yesterday, we sent a formal request to the chairman asking for a specific commitment to make the federal mortgage companies a priority in this hearing, not an afterthought. We can't wait until Halloween to unmask these two failed monsters of mortgage finance. As for AIG, I'm interested in learning more about the corporate decision-making that took a solid insurance business into the far less stable world of credit default, swaps, and other exotic derivatives. They thought they were selling insurance, when in fact they were betting the company's soul in a high-stakes game of Russian roulette. We need to ask what AIG knew about the risk behind these novel products, when they knew the bet soured, and how they informed investors, policyholders, regulators, and the public that the company was in peril. AIG, like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, was considered too big to fail. Going forward, we need to grapple with the implications of the concept government will be there to break the fall of some large businesses, but not others. It's been said, capitalism without failure is like religion without sin. Any doctrine loses its moral authority when bad conduct is rewarded and the consequences of poor choices are foisted on someone else. Investigating the causes and effects of this financial debacle should involve assigning culpability, and restoring integrity and balance to the system of risks, rewards, and penalties our society uses to assign value to labor, capital, and commerce. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shays.
How you doing?
Good, how are you? My name's Susanna Troy.
How you doing, Susanna?
Good, hi. I'm an artist and activist. I made this artwork way before the election. Every major newspaper had published my my letters, but as soon as I came out anti-Bloomberg, I was blackballed, just like Occupy Wall Street can't get any media coverage unless it involves possibly a celebrity. So right now, Mayor Bloomberg is at 100 Center Street. He is being deposed. King Bloomberg is being deposed by Haggerty's lawyers. Mike broke campaign laws. That's a misdemeanor A. It carries jail time. But FYI, the American justice system has gone the way of Wall Street. It has collapsed. So he's been given immunity along with all his deputy mayors and his money mules like Allison Jaffin. Right now, he just lied in court. It's perjury. He said he wasn't willing to do anything possible to win a third term. It's a lie. He perjured himself. But so did Patricia Harris, his deputy mayor, when she said to Dennis Vacco, I want to help you. You liar. They're liars. They perjured themselves. They have immunity. They belong in jail. They deserve one term in jail.
What is your opinion of what's going on in the world today?
It's scary. We have a global recession, possibly going into a depression. Unless you're part of the elite super rich, people are really hurting. And why I'm holding the sign is because our justice system has gone the way of Wall Street. It's collapsed. And the American justice system is about money. And so is politics in America. It's oligarch central. So I am scared and I'm worried, but you always have to have some hope in the world. And I guess what these people are doing in a very peaceful way is trying to find some hope and optimism somehow.
What do you
Peaceful way.
what do you think this will lead to? What do you
Wall Street,
what are you hoping this will lead to?
I hope in a peaceful way change. I don't know if it's going to stay peaceful, but I would hope it's peaceful. But I believe it's going to get bigger and bigger. It's going to become a bigger and bigger movement globally. Kind of like slut walks. If you guys missed the protest yesterday, Saturday we did slut walks, and it was huge. And the press lied and said it was a few hundred people. It was thousands. And all through its slut walk said solidarity with Occupy Wall Street.
Have you ever heard of the Rothschild bankers?
Yes, I have. I just want to say I'm Jewish. Do not blame the Jews. There's plenty of bankers and they weren't Jewish. They come in every background. And I believe when the terrorists blew up the World Trade Center over there, it was not only because they envied it, but because the leaders had financial bets with Wall Street to make money. So please don't go black and white and extreme on things. And keep on
Okay. What's your opinion on Zionism?
I'm a Jew and I love Israel, and I get real nervous when I hear that because it sounds anti-Semitic. I think that we can find peace in the Middle East and live amongst each other, and I believe that in helping the Palestinian people, but there are Arabs that use Israel as a scapegoat, and they're not willing to open their doors to Palestinian people and let them even come into their countries. So again, there's more than two sides to a story. There's three sides.
Do you think that there should be a two-state solution?
Absolutely, we should have a state, but not at the expense of killing Jews or hurting Jewish people. And same for Arabs. I don't want any Arabs hurt, killed, or anything. It's a peaceful solution. Yes, there can be room for everyone to be represented, but the scapegoating and hatred of Jews has to stop.
Okay. Thank you so much. What's your name?
Susanna Troy.
Susanna Troy.
Sucannah Troy, Troy.
Thank you so much, Susanna.
We'll hear from Lynn Turner, who served as chief accountant of the Securities and Exchange Commission from 1998 to 2001. He has served on the boards of public companies as a professor of accounting, as a partner in an auditing firm, and as the managing director of a research firm. He is currently a senior advisor at Kroll Inc. Eric Dinallo currently serves as the superintendent of the New York State Insurance Department. From 1999 to 2003, he served as the chief of the Securities Bureau at the New York State Attorney General's office. Mr. Dinallo has also served as general counsel at a large insurance broker and as managing director for regulatory affairs at Morgan Stanley. We're pleased to welcome both of you to our hearing this morning. It's the practice of this committee that all witnesses that testify before us do so under oath, so I'd like to ask if you would stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you'll give before the committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? The record will indicate that both of the witnesses answered in the affirmative. You have given us prepared statements, some quite lengthy, and I want you to know that all of those statements, both of those statements, prepared statements, will be in the record in its entirety. What we'd like to ask you to do is try to be mindful of 5 minutes that we allocate to the oral presentation.